Welcome into the channel, Tennessee podcast. It is March the 30th, 2026. The Tennessee baseball team goes into Nashville and gets swept by Vanderbilt this past weekend, as LSU heads to Lindsey Nelson this weekend to take on the Vols. Former Tennessee baseball players are clapping back at some of our fans on social media right now. We'll read some of those out loud and get everybody's opinion on that. And the state of our fan base. I feel like they're losing their minds. We'll talk about that as well. Tennessee falls in the Elite Eight as, to a Michigan team that seems like unstoppable, like a juggernaut. But what's next for the basketball team? Well, let's talk. Let's talk, my friends. Let's talk. But again, welcome in to the channel, Tennessee Podcast. I'm your host, Randy, alongside my good friend, Austin Brown, and alongside my good friend from Collectibles and More, Josh Elswick. If you haven't been out to the store, 197 Foothills Mall, Maryville, Tennessee, and 907 Old Jackson Highway, Jacksboro, Tennessee. It's a vibe, my friends. It's a vibe. As you can see in his background, if you're watching live, all the cards and collectibles in the background, it's a vibe. So if you haven't gotten out there, please get out there because it is really fun to hang out with those guys. They're great people. Great to hang out with. But anyways, welcome in. How we doing? How we doing, Josh?
Great, man. Appreciate you guys having me on again, talking baseball. Wish it was a little different situation after the weekend.
Yeah.
But I'm always here to talk about it, and I always love my volunteers no matter what. So
yeah. Austin, what's going on, my dude?
Oh, doing good. We went to our third straight Elite Eight. That's something that should absolutely be cherished and celebrated. You might never see that again as a fan in 100 years. But we got our ass whooped by the best team in college basketball, in my opinion. Yes. And then the baseball team got walked off 3 times. So that's okay.
Yeah. The Elite Eight, getting to the Elite Eight, it's, in my opinion, the best coaching job of Rick Barnes' career. So to this date at Tennessee, that's no one was expecting us to go anywhere in this tournament. They went to the Elite Eight, one game away from the Final Four once again. We'll talk about that later in the podcast, but we're going to open up because we have Josh Elswick here, big baseball guy. But Tennessee goes to Nashville and gets walked off 3 times. Like you said, Austin, gets walked off. It wasn't fun to watch. It infuriated a lot of people just by the way, because it was Vandy mainly, but the way that the games ended with 3 straight walk-offs for a Vanderbilt sweep wasn't fun, man. I didn't have fun. I actually did not watch the last game because I watched some of it, not a lot of it, but I couldn't. I'm one of those fans where I can't watch because it's bad for my mental health. I get angry. I get mad. I can't sit there and make myself angry if I know something isn't going well. But Austin is a little bit different. He sat there watching the whole entire game. Mm-hmm. And I'm one of those people that love my teams through and through forever and ever. But I can't. There's something about me getting mad. I can't do it. I can't piss my own self off. But
honestly, I watched it. I thought we were going to win. Even when we were trailing, I thought we were going to win because I knew how putrid Vandy's pitching situation was, and I was just waiting for the explosion of offense to softball pitches. Blew a 5-run lead in the 9th. So that'll do it.
Yeah, Josh, what are your first initial thoughts on that sweep? I know you weren't happy as well, but
no, that's tough. I saw the comments that just popped up. I do think there's a lot of overreaction right now. I know we're going to get into that a little bit. I just think that there could be some decisions made differently to help out a little bit, and I think we've got to have somebody step up, take control, be a leader, and spark a little bit of fire into our boys is what I think we really need to happen. Because that is obviously everybody feels that way about Vanderbilt as Tennessee fans, our little brothers. But we've got to be sparked up there. That's tough loss, tough to watch, tough for the kids too. People don't understand that. Like they feel the same way. I promise. There's effort.
Oh, there's no one that cares more than the ones that are actually losing the game, and we sit here and get mad at fans, and we'll get into this in a second. National champion Tony Vitello's smile chimes in. Nice name. He says, I make funny jokes and like to laugh, but you guys need to tell this fan base to relax. Our athletics are not that bad right now. Thanks. And he's right. It's just it all happens at once with the Lady Vols not doing well, the baseball team not doing well at the moment, and football is projected to win 6.5 games. And it's just everyone thinks the sky is falling, hell's freezing over. But he is right. National champion Tony Vitello Smile. He is right. Like the sky is not falling. But as a fan, you can get mad. You can. It's you. That's what we're fanatics. That's what we do. We're not out there playing.
Yes.
So
I think my tweet after the baseball game was, "We're the most snake bit motherfuckers on earth." It was more emotion. Okay, for being a Tennessee fan, you gotta get ready for that moment where, wow, that was the biggest kick in the nuts I've ever felt in my life.
right?
And I gotta express that. I'm a Tennessee fan. I'm gonna tell you how I feel, and that's how I felt. And it's not true. Arkansas exists, but it's definitely not the funnest time, but it's not that bad. No, it's not that
No.
bad. This baseball season has a lot left in the tank. This team has a ton of talent. The basketball team they are in their golden age of Tennessee basketball, and I truly feel good about the future. And football, you made the biggest defensive staff changes and strength staff changes you could have made, and got some of the biggest defensive players out of the portal. There's plenty to feel good over there. It's definitely not the end of the world. I think it's just the whole fan base has this feeling of we were ready to take the next step, and it feels like we took a slight one backwards in all sports, and it's just a little bit frustrating. And that's just kind of the current emotion. But sometimes it's a bit of influx. Sometimes you got to go back to go forward, or who knows.
Yeah, and I mean, and you're right, because everything. I get a take on this, Josh, but like everything was going right, and then it's like a flip of a switch. It doesn't feel like it's going right, even though it's not the end of the world. We just went to an Elite Eight. I know you wanted to go to the Final Four, but like not all is bad. But I think it does come from the baseball team winning a national title, the football team going to the playoffs, and then you don't have that like a year later, 2 years later, and the fan base kind of crumbles. But I want to get your take on this, Josh, because our former players on the baseball team are clapping back at our fans right now, because there are some fans out there that are absolutely losing their minds, thinking the world is falling. This is from someone on Twitter, VFL Jess 82. She writes, said, you can really tell easily who's been a Tennessee baseball fan for 5 minutes, not even 5 years, because you can't even remember how the 2022 season ended. And then Drew Beam comments on that, because there was a lot of people just saying like this program is Josh Leonard has killed this program. It's over. And then which is crazy talk. And then Drew Beam chimes in and he says they also seem to forget the 2023 season. We lost 2 out of 3 opening weekends, then started SEC play 5 and 10. Lost back-to-back series at LSU and Florida, then swept by Arkansas. Twitter freaked out. Then the team got to Omaha. Winning ain't easy in this game. There's time. So the players are chirping back.
So, back to like the first point of that with how we've done for the last years. We've been spoiled for 5 years.
Yep.
When's the last time that Tennessee fans have had a sport that has spoiled us the way that Tony V did and our
Good
baseball
question.
team did?
Good question.
People have to also remember Mr. Elander was a significant part of why we were spoiled. So if we back up and we go back to when all this happened and Josh doesn't get the job, the same kind of comments are made by the same kind of people on why we didn't hire him. And so, and I understand, I don't care. I understand the emotion that our fans provide people, right? We're probably one of the most unliked teams in the country because of our fans and how emotional, but it comes out of passion. It comes out of fire. It comes out of caring. We just like to talk a lot. But I think that saying that we are ruining this, or Josh is ruining this program is absurd. We wouldn't be where we're at without him. It's growing pains. We're young, but I love seeing former players who are successful former players who have big league careers that are coming back at our fans, because that shows that we did something right while they were here to care enough about this university to tweet back at them. And that's what people have to understand. Like in our fan base, it is so easy to get so emotional because we're so spoiled. But if you see people that didn't just use this as a skipping stone to go pro and they're getting fired up, like they've been through this already, listen to them. Like just listen to them.
Yeah.
You know, I've had conversations with some of the guys that are in the big leagues now that played for us the last couple of years. And the same thing was said. I love the fans. We love them. But guys, relax, breathe, slow down just a little bit. Like we don't need to burn the roof off Lindsey Nelson Stadium. You know, and that's what we've got to calm down and realize is that it's early. We are super young, and we have a head coach who took a dang near impossible job to fill Tony Vitello's shoes right now. So let's just give him time. But he also is a person that if without Josh, you don't have Tony the same way he was. So just breathe, give the guy a little time. Do we want to see some changes? I want to talk about some changes we want to see. But I think it's more of a maturity level from a head coach perspective than a maturity level from a person. We don't need to get personal with these people. Like just give it a little time. Like if you're going to provide feedback, try your best to provide feedback in the right way, and don't be a couch coach. Everybody just needs to stand back and let this happen. So, I read them too, and I see them, and I laugh more than anything, but it's just something that we've got to we've been spoiled, guys. Like, give it a little time. It's got to marinate just a little bit.
When did Josh Ellswick turn into the Reverend over here preaching? Preaching to the
crowd. Talk about baseball. It's over with me. That's my boys, my group.
I've said this before on this podcast. I want to get your opinion on this too, Austin. But I've said this. I don't know if you've heard me say this on the podcast, but I'm going to repeat myself. I am one of the most critical and at times can be a negative fan. I wouldn't say negative, just realistic with my thoughts. I'm not sitting here saying like you suck and I'm calling out players and stuff like that. But there has gotten to a point with this fan base where it is out of control with how negative it has gotten. And I used to be one of those guys when it was, under Butch Jones and under, Derek Dooley and Philip Fulmer was our AD. And it was some of the worst sports I've ever been to in my life. You could go to a football game and just completely watch us get beat by Georgia State. And that's when I was negative. That's when the fans do need to be chirping and getting mad. I can understand being emotionally invested, which you should be because you are a fan and you pay money. And it's okay to have an opinion. But man, it's gotten to a point here where every time we lose any type of game, it's screw you, Danny White, screw you, so and so, screw you, Josh Ealer, you're ruining it. It's like it has gotten so over the top, and it's annoying to this point. It's annoying.
I think I kind of get where it comes from, but and I don't really know the solution. Well, I know the solution. Winning, just everyone's happy when you're winning. No one says anything negative but when you do have those those speed bump moments, you do hear that more than you used to. And I do think it's a factor of the fans are paying more than they ever have. That is a factor. It's hitting your pocketbook harder than it ever has. That, along with, I think there is some. A lot of us grew up in those days, those down years, those incredibly down years, like the Quanzo Martin, the Derek Dooley, the 5-7. We had a losing season, I think 5 years in a row in football.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's some fear of going back to that. I think there is, and just be fair, we don't have stuff like Georgia fans can throw those football national titles in our face. Bama fans can do the same. Florida had a title in basketball last year, and the Tebow years weren't that long ago. Auburn even had that run. They got a couple Final Fours. We have a title under baseball, but football and basketball, we're kind of it's weird. Like basketball, I think we've won more games in the tournament than anyone since 2021, but we don't have a Final Four. And then football, we made the playoff, but it felt like we backtracked a little bit, and I don't know, it doesn't feel too positive in that direction right at this moment. So I do think there is something to that emotion, and we were very heavy with the everything school mantra, and it just and getting owned by Vandy just sucks. Let me just tell you right now.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is something we didn't need to happen. That was a fuck this kind of deal. Like we do not need to be taking a backseat to Vandy and well, postseason we did better than them in basketball, but it feels like we got owned by them on the floor in each sport. So it's kind of it's just a bit of a tense time, and I'm just I'm not I don't agree with the people that are claiming at the players. That is stupid, and that's flat. Anyone saying Josh Elander this, Josh Elander that, there was no other option there. Like this is Josh Elander's job, and it should have always been. There should have been no debate there whatsoever, and that was pretty much the consensus from the fan base as it should have been. And you know what? The team struggled at times last year under Tony too,
Oh,
in
we
a
lost.
similar
We lost.
fashion.
We lost the
Uh,
last 5 series.
Now,
So
don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that everything going on with this team is perfectly okay and that nothing you should worry about, but I'm just gonna say it's normal. It happens.
yeah,
You can get frustrated. You can cuss your head off. I did quite a bit actually. And there are things frustrating. I don't like bunting, or I don't like trying to steal just to score our first run. I don't like that. And there's just little things in the game you don't like, but uh, I'm not. I mean, it's very still similar to how it was under Tony last year. So I don't think it's anything you should lose your head over.
yeah. Josh, before we got on here and started talking, you mentioned how you've talked to some of the players and how they're feeling and how what they're feeling about with LSU coming to town. Can you
They're
kind
fired
of
up.
get yeah
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and this is what I respect. They're not looking for sympathy. They're not down and about. Like, are they pissed? Yeah, they're pissed. They're frustrated with themselves, but they're already channeling that into proving a point moving forward. And let's reiterate this: like, baseball's baseball. It's a lot of times it's a one player game. You get a pitcher who might be a Tuesday starter that comes in for injured person, has the best game of his entire career, but you're going to see a little different level of fieriness and intensity, I believe, to come out of these guys. Like I really, and what people have to understand is a lot of you guys have been in positions to where you have your main manager who you don't want to go talk to, you don't want to work for, and then you have the assistant manager that you can kind of go around and you build a different kind of relationship. Well, when that person gets bumped into charge, a lot of those people still think of them as the same way they were when they were the assistant manager. So, and what I'm trying to get to here and what I'm trying to tie together is that it's going to take some time for Josh to earn respect from a head coach perspective. And people have to give him time he has to make mistakes. Mistakes are your best lessons. You can't be taught everything. He's been taught enough to get into his head coaching job, but we have to understand this is very early on. He's trying to mend the boundary of friendship and leadership. And that's what people got to give him time to do. Because I know people have been in that position to where, oh, well, the assistant manager took over. I'm going to have it made now and I can do whatever I want. And he likes me. Well, it takes a little bit of time for those people to show the maturity and the leadership levels to still get the respect on their name. Not the title. You always respect the title, but on them personally.
yeah yeah. I agree. And Drew Beam tweeted again about an hour ago, and he's talking about the LSU series, and he said, "And while I'm at it, I think there's no better weekend than this one to break the attendance record. Big old beautiful stadium should be at max capacity. It's understated how much the energy from Vol Nation affects the play on the field. No better time to show out than now."
So I will say something. I won't disclose seats or anything like that, but being very close to the field and being down one run with two people on base in the ninth inning, and I can hear myself echoing off of the back wall in the porch area from where I'm at, should not happen. Should not happen. We've got to bring more passion and energy. If we expect it out of the players, they feed off us. If we can see, they are looking around, looking for people to get up and stand up and yell.
They do look around a lot.
Don't be obnoxious. Don't scream obscurities. Don't be nasty with people, but just motivate and yell and cheer. And that with how they've done Lindsey Nelson now with the top of the stadium, I've been down on the field and you can hear it. And that resonates with a mile per hour harder from a pitch or 10 foot longer for a home run. Like, just be motivational, be loud, get up. Don't just sit there and have your tweet ready to go because you think we're going to lose. Like, do something to try to make some kind of impact.
Yeah.
I do think now the basketball season is done, you might see an uptick there in the kind of fans you get to the games. Because I have always noticed that following Tennessee baseball that once basketball had their run ending on this specific weekend every year, um, it was a heavy turn to baseball, and we got LSU upcoming. I If you win that Friday night should be hyped already, but if you win that game, Saturday's gonna be freaking awesome. And you know, just think it would do this team some good just to hit the baseball and get some good pitching. I just think one night of that would kind of just
Well,
turn the whole mentality of the team around. It,
they
hitting
better
is
because
contagious.
LSU is going to be fighting the same thing. They're not playing
Yeah.
well either. Like, they're going to come out swinging just like we are going to try to come out swinging. Their fans are pissed off right now too. Like,
What did they do this week?
like their fans are mad. And to go back to what we were talking about a little bit ago, Daniel in the comments, he's talking about NIL era and these players getting paid and fans, and he says fans feel like they have more of a reason to complain and criticize. And I mean, I would agree with that because, like Austin said earlier, you are paying more because you're getting better facilities, you're getting better athletes. I mean, we don't get Nate Ament without without NIL and for more money and everything like that. We don't get Nate Ament. People were like, "Oh my God, we need a superstar player." Well, we try to go out and get the best one out there in Nate Ament, and you're not going to get Faison Brandon and players like that coming into football without your NIL. So it's going to get the more top players you want, it's going to be more expensive. So that's just the business side of it. And if you don't have NIL, you're not spending all this money, then you're not going to get those guys. So it's like it's two-sided sword there. Like it's hard to even fathom that.
I have mixed emotions on that. I 100% agree. Like, I do.
Yeah.
But two things to remember. A, it was happening before. Now it's public,
it's legal.
right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
two, a lot of these kids are 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
Like, and I agree. And this is not a fan bash. Like, I've been there. I don't tweet, I text. When I'm upset, that's what I do.
Text a buddy.
Or I have a conversation. So I'm right there with everybody out here on this subject. And I think everybody's very valid when it comes to their points and what they're saying and what they're upset for. And this is a professional game now. You start paying players, it is a profession. 100%. I just think sucking it back into this situation, we also have to look at from a fan standpoint that we have a brand new coach with a young team, and there's not a lot of senior leadership. I mean, how many seniors on the team? 2?
I heard Evan Russell bring this point up, and it hit me kind of, there isn't that really, like, you had Hunter Ensley on the team last year. In previous lineups, you had Evan Russell or Christian Moore or Blake Burke. You had these guys that have been doing it for a while and that were part of that brotherhood that would be able to work you through situations. They knew when to work a walk. They knew how to work pitchers. It's crazy what a concept this is, but older dudes are just better at baseball and better at sports. I've kind of come to that realization when the average age of every Final Four team is, I think, like 23 years old. I mean, it's just a pure fact. Who was our best player in this tournament run? I'd argue Felix Akpara. I really think you noticed that being older is a huge advantage, especially when you're part of something for year in, year out, not just a mercenary like player that's on a different team every year. That's huge. And I mean, I just hope it gets better. I think the hitting, you've seen a little bit of it's gotten better at times, but you can't have days like you did Saturday in Nashville. That was pretty dreadful.
Mhm.
We just need less of those. I don't know what it is. I'm not gonna act like I know exactly how to fix baseball players because I sure as hell don't. But I do, and I do believe it will improve. I do believe it has to improve because usually things come up to their average. Like, all these guys are good hitters that are not hitting the ball well at all, And I know that will not stay that way. And hopefully they all come on at the right time and we can actually have some fun.
Yeah, Josh.
But so it did improve this weekend. Like that's the thing we have to remember as well. Like we put up 15 runs and got beat. If we win, this is not a conversation of improvement. Like we just got beat. Like that's when you talk about the older players being better, I 100% agree with you. I mean, there's times that I see other people walk up to the plate or get on the court on the film, like that's a grown man. Like that is a grown dude. They're physically bigger. But at the same time as well, those guys have made more mistakes because they've been there longer and have learned from those mistakes. So the maturity level from that aspect is completely different. Plus, you see a lot of these smaller schools, and like we were back in the early 2020s, a lot of those guys played Team USA ball together. They played travel ball together. That mentorship came from each other, and they already know how to motivate each other because they've seen that other person down and out. The new era with transfers, I know last year for a fact there were situations to where transfers came in to try to take leadership, right? Older guys trying to take leadership, which is very much, I love that aspect, that fire, but it wouldn't have been respected as much because they're new guys. And so then you have that issue. So you've got to have a coach that can kind of bond that together. And we have a great we have so many great freshmen, so many great sophomores. We as fans have to understand that sometimes what we say can cause people to leave, and we don't want that to happen. I think we're going to be just fine this year. Like Austin said, I think we're going to grow. I think we're going to get better. We're going to swing the ball. Hey, hats off to Tegan Coons and Brandon Arvidsson Friday night, right? I mean, just swap like that and to build off each other and have the performances they did. We've got to be patient, and we've got to also motivate, because I think we'll have a good year this year. I think we could have a phenomenal year next year.
It makes me think of our teams back in the day when Simo was like batting bottom of the lineup.
Yep.
Wasn't even seeing it, and he was young. And then next thing you know, blink of an eye, he's our best player, our best hitter, our best do-it-all guy out there. But another point you mentioned when you're talking about teams that are young and they get old, that's why when you have these smaller teams that come in here and give you fits, they're all veteran teams. They're all old guys. They've been together. They've been around the block. And people in baseball are like, oh, I can't believe we even those people even played us well. I'm like, dude, because they've been playing baseball for 4 freaking years straight in college. Like they're grown men. They're not.
Yeah.
They don't have any like star freshmen. They're all grown dudes out there.
And you know what's huge about that too? They all grew up playing it together. They've been playing it together for 3 or 4 years, and that's a huge factor. I'll never forget Campbell coming into Lindsey Nelson, and every one of their players looked like he was like a lumberjack or something, like just smoked like a whole pack of cigarettes and came from the freaking woods. I don't know where the hell these guys came from. Yeah, like what the hell am I looking at? Where the hell is Bowie's Creek, and what the hell is a fighting camel?
That guy got a beer and a cigarette there.
He has like 2 ex-wives.
Is he wanted for murder? All right. So speaking about all of that and all the troubles and how we could possibly fix them, or how they could possibly fix it, and how it could work out, how are we feeling about this weekend? About the LSU series? Are you feeling good? Are you? I'm a wait and see before I tell you how I feel. That's the kind of mode I'm in. They got to prove it to me before I see it. Playing sports, you played sports all growing up, Josh. It's like you just got to see it happen, and then you gain a little confidence. It's like when you're playing basketball, like when you're younger. It's like, oh, I made a layup. Okay, well, I can probably make one from 15 foot. And the next thing you know, that one goes in. You're like, all right, well, I can probably drink some threes now. You got to like gradually just have something good happen. And this weekend, in my opinion, like good has to happen, or it's not going to be good. So I know that's like a stupid, simplistic thing, but it's not. It could put you off the rails of the train track. Like, so I feel like Tennessee has to have a good weekend. What are your thoughts on that, Josh?
Agreed, 100%. I mean, here it's still baseball, still a game that you never know what could happen any time. I want to see intensity. Like I want to see passion. I want to see if there's a mistake made, somebody is not screaming and downgrading, being nasty to somebody, but somebody has a conversation with that person. And so I do believe, yet again, going back to the fanmanship, right? Like I believe we're gonna do great. We're gonna sweep them. We're gonna kill them. But if we don't, I just want to see a different mentality out of our players and coaches, and intensity. a passion during the game, not after. Don't reflect. Be proactive, not reactive. Like, let's see some proactiveness here. And I hope there's more time in the batting cages this week. I hope there's more time on the mound. I hope that the people that made the mistakes last week are taking fly balls and practicing bunting. And that's the kind of stuff that I think will end up paying off for us.
Yeah, because we're not having a problem with contact. We're getting contact. I've just never seen anything like it. The balls are going straight to the defenders. They're being popped every time. It's like, oh my God, this is like, it'll drive you nuts.
I will say I was really happy to see Blaine Brown have a good day Sunday.
Okay.
That
Agreed.
was so needed. Because
And Grinlinger, freshman,
like,
Trent's a dog.
Like, I hated. I don't belabor this point, but I hated when we faked that steal just to or try to steal just to get a run on the board. I know we went to extras, and so it technically got you there, but dude, this is your 3-hole hitter, man, and all the pressure in the world's on that pitcher at this moment. We should feel good enough about ourselves that we can feel like we can drill on a run here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like there are times this weekend where I felt like it was going better. But then sometimes it felt worse. Reese another guy that had a great game Sunday. I really hope this all just hits so we can. Honestly, you need to sweep LSU. That would really just turn everything around. 2 out of 3, I will obviously take.
I just
but
take
you're
the series.
going
I don't.
you're going into Starkville next weekend. The weekend after this weekend. That's a tough spot. I'm not gonna lie, but if you could steal a game there, that'd be amazing.
You're going to find out a lot about this team in the next 2 weeks. A lot.
Yeah.
But also, you have to, like, if you look at the standings right now, like, a sweep could put you back in the middle of the pack, and then the next week's sweep could put you at the front of the pack. So, like, it is all over the place everywhere. I think a lot of teams are trying to adapt to this new era of baseball, and it's going to get, because now you got to think, and hey, prayers to Stone Lawless, speedy recovery, man. I hate that happened. Also the pitcher, I could tell he was affected. But dude, we have him. We have the gentleman who tore his ACL in the outfield. We're down to 33 players on the roster. Like, roster limits make a big difference too. So you're going to have to see some people step up and fill some shoes right now. That last year we might have played more people because we had more people on the roster. So there's a lot of unknowns that we don't even think about as fans. That's like brand new to everybody.
Yeah. Well, and it could be a case of this. It's almost like it feels very reminiscent and very familiar of this basketball team. This baseball team kind of feels like the basketball team. Everyone was like, they're in the beginning of the season and throughout the season, they're like, oh my God, this team is just miserable to watch. I can't stand watching this. It's boring. It's making me a nervous wreck. And then they won when it matters. So maybe this team can win these games that matter. And I really hope so, because I miss baseball. I miss it's what Drew Gilbert said in that post. Bring it, get loud, because he said it affects them just as much as it affects like us. Well, what you said, Josh, it does make a huge difference. So it's like I've gotten to the point in my fandom and on looking at social media where the fans, dude, it's so exhausting. Like, shut up. Like, just, like, God. Like, just sound like that guy. Like, just cheer for him. But seriously, right now, just cheer for him, because they're down way worse than you ever will be right now.
Yeah. And not to bring us back to basketball, but I kind of noticed that in a lot of the post-game comments from Barnes. Like, I never heard him talk that much about how bad he wants to get to that Final Four, how much it wants to be him to break that door down. And you really don't grasp how much it kills people inside these programs to when they fail. Like, you feel it as a fan because you invested and you watched and you got your emotions involved, and it does suck. It absolutely does. They feel the same way. They feel absolutely the same way. Um, as on these teams, just all together. And I, I know I get the spot our fans are in, but it is true. Just be patient, and maybe that'll actually improve the product on the field at the same time. So we'll see.
Well, there's been so many times in sports where you get so down and then things change in a blink of an eye. I mean, it does. So it's like you can be worried right now about the baseball team and stuff like that, but it's not time to flip and like say this program is over. Like that's just insanity. Like
No,
just
good Lord,
absolute
no.
insanity.
Are there things I wish would change a little bit? Yes, absolutely. But I absolutely think Josh is. I'm not worried about him right now. I'm not.
No.
I'm not at all. I just think honestly, just if we just won the series against LSU, if we win the series against LSU, I feel like it will do more to help the condition of everything more than anything. I really do feel like winning solves all problems, and it's magic. I don't know, especially big series like beating Missouri was nice, but beating LSU will actually feel good. And it sucks to say that and know that how close you were to it's crazy, but 3 hits or just a little bit better performance here and there, you sweep Vandy. How good would that have felt? How good would you feel about this baseball team if they went out there and swept Vandy or won 2 out of 3, which they were? I mean, you got walked off 3 times, which is absolutely horrible. But at the same time, you were in position to win all 3 of those games. So
Yeah.
it's that's why it's so painful. But at the same time, you got to think like, well, you were in position, and that's even better than you played at Georgia when you really think about it.
Yeah, it's
Um,
what you said, Josh, too, earlier, that the bats were on fire on Sunday in the final game against Vanderbilt, but we don't care about that because we lost. But if you do look at it, you're like, damn, the bats really got going. They got going big time. I don't know how the hell Vandy scored 16, but we scored 15. So that's one thing to look at. Like, okay, maybe this can turn against LSU. If it doesn't turn against LSU, then it could derail a little bit or more than we want to. But again, I don't know. I didn't. I haven't looked at. Yeah, it's a big weekend. I haven't looked at it like the way you did, Josh, about we did get 15 runs in across the plate, which we haven't even come close to against a relevant team this season. So maybe that is a little spark of like, okay, I'm seeing the ball better because I feel like we haven't. Do you think? I feel like we haven't. They're not seeing the ball well.
I think that again,
that
going back to this the spoiled conversation we had before is, I mean, the last 3 or 4 years we've been top 3 in home runs, like
Yeah.
every time. So I think that there's also pressure on the players to fill the shoes of Drew Gilberts and Andrew Fishers and Blake Burks and Semos and people like that when they just swing a little too hard. Like they swing just a little too hard. And going back to the bullpen and being able to put both offense and defense together, you also had senior leadership or junior leadership, people that have been there for years. Last year, AJ Russell's, Marcus Phillips. The year before that, Drew Beam. That, if you're messing around in the bullpen and laughing and joking around, you don't know what you're supposed to do. Those guys would say, "Hey, boys, focus. Come on." Like I want to see some more. That's we're fans at the end of the day too. I do want to see some change. Like there's no reason why we're dropping pop outs. There's no reason why we're missing calls. There's no reason on 0-2 counts we're throwing fastballs in the zone. Like that's stuff that we need to get better. They are the best of the best when it comes to baseball players. That's why they're there on that field for. Let's just see some fire out of the dugout to compensate that. And I'm not saying downgrade these kids, and yet again, not bashing fanship. Like everybody's going to have numerous opinions of how to do this. Like, so we're not on the field, but just being able to know some of these people a little bit more, I just think we could take a different approach from our coaches' mentality to our players, and then some of these players stepping up and being leaders.
Yeah, and it goes back to the toughness and fiery mentality. Because let's just take Joey Aguilar for example. Kind of when the season was over a little bit, he had the interview where he basically said that our practices weren't very physical and they weren't very fiery, and you saw that towards the end of the year on the field. Like they look soft, they don't look like they're fired up. And so what did the coaching staff do? What are the changes being made? Who they bring in? Fiery people. A fiery strength coach, a fiery defensive coordinator, people that are fiery guys that have attitudes, that aren't afraid to look at you and say, you suck right now and you need to get better, or your attitude is sucky. You need to change that right now or you're going to not play here. So I think you're right in that aspect, Josh, is like they need some fire, something.
Well, this is the beginning of a timeline for this program, right? This isn't the end. This is the beginning of a timeline. And last year, not only did Tony have a presence, but you had Q and you also had Frank. Like that there was a different presence. It's not that our coaches don't have that built up inside. And guess what, guys? Let's just be real. We don't know what they've been told that they're able to do and not able to do.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, oh, he needs to get thrown out of a game. He needs to get thrown out of a game. But also last year, everybody was complaining because the umpires wouldn't give us calls because Tony was always getting thrown out of games. So like, you're not going to make everybody happy either way. I just think that some small changes can be made to show more light and more fire. But we go back to basketball, and Austin, you're right about Rick, but Rick's also one of the most winningest coaches ever. He's already been through that. He's already dealt with that. He's already kept a player in with too many fouls. He's already pulled a player that should have played with more fouls. Josh is trying to learn right now, like, how can I test the limits of my pitchers to see how long I can keep them in the game? And I'm the first one to be like, man, we should have taken this guy out. But also as a pitcher, right? When a coach walked up to me, I pitched. And he said, hey, are you good for another inning? What does every pitcher say?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, that conversation doesn't need to be had. We just need to make the decision as a coach. And so what happens here is that, unfortunately, that mentality of trying to build confidence in a pitcher is almost damaging that confidence. But we also wouldn't know if we haven't made those mistakes yet. So everybody just needs to be patient with this program. And I think we're going to be just fine. But we can make this way worse. Because I'll tell you this, they look at social media. Oh, don't look at this. And good stuff and bad stuff. We just got to be at the games, prepared, ready to go, cheering on our teams, showing the emotional support. And if you're doing that and they're not playing hard, say what you want to say. But if you became a fan 5 years ago, please don't. Like, just Alabama needs more fans or something. Just go with them. That's fine.
Yeah. Tyler, our Georgia buddy, says, I think Tennessee fans just need to let Elander settle in, guys. That's what our Georgia buddy says. And it could, and he's not a troll. That's not a troll. He comments on, he's not like, oh, I think you should keep him around forever. Like, he's not, he's actually being serious. Like, Tennessee fans need to chill. They really do need to chill. Because he comments all the time. Not a troll.
Man, I really hope we beat LSU.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be
much different.
I don't know when that happens.
Yeah, if we don't beat LSU, it's yeah.
It's gonna not be that fun.
A&M was in the same boat as us last year when they came here and played us.
They were.
You're right. You're right.
And,
yeah, you're right.
I hope it goes better for us than it did for A&M, because I was actually surprised they kept Michael early. And look at them now; they're actually having some good success with him. So you can learn.
Yeah, I mean, you don't. Josh Elander is never been a head coach. It takes a second to learn your craft. Like, it's what my wife screamed at me earlier. It's like, what have you done for me now mentality. It's like, because Tennessee fans are at that point where it's like, they don't want to, what you said, Austin, and you said it perfectly. Like, we don't want to go back to sucking. And so it is battered Vol syndrome. Battered Vol syndrome is a real thing. You had all those horrible years, and you get one little taste of like something that you don't like. And a lot of people, it's like PTSD. You go straight back to it. You're like, damn it, it's happening again. But it's not. It's not. Like, it's
we still stick with them.
Yeah. And it's like, if you can stick with them through those shitty, horrible times, like, it's like,
I hate to say it, but a lot of these sports like basketball and baseball get a little worse like hell from fans, because it's part of our dissatisfaction with what we've got in football.
That's a fair point. That's such a good point, though.
But like, when we can't say anything to Georgia or Florida in football championship wise, SEC championship wise, it's frustrating. Like, we haven't won an SEC title since '98 or national championships since '98. That's just, it's frustrating. Like, yeah, you got Bama and you're back. I mean, you're year in, year out top 10, 15 in the sport, but you want to take that next step that everyone else in your group has since the last time you did. And it's just, it's very frustrating. That's why I was rooting like hell for Ole Miss to lose, because I was like, no one else can jump to that level before we do. Please don't. But yeah, they get a lot of the grief. Josh,
read that comment from Ryan real quick, because you kind of already answered that earlier. Read that real quick.
When are we going to address the K's and bad at bats? And you're right. Like, it's 100%. I think mentalities hit home runs. And that's where we've got to slow down. And that's maturity levels. Like everybody's trying to fill shoes that don't need to be filled. We need to small ball it right now and make contact. But at the same time, if you look at a lot of our games, yes, there's some bad strikeouts. I would complain more about we can't string hits together, and we're terrible when there's 2 outs. We how many base? I mean, I can't tell you for sure, but how many base runners have we left on? And that's because a lot of people's mentality is I'm going to hit a grand slam, not I'm going to hit a single. And that is 100% right. Like that comes from coaching. Like that conversation needs to be had, but we're not there. Maybe they're having those conversations and need to do it in a different way. But like there are faults. Like I'm not trying to take up for everything about these players because, dude, there are times that I'm like, what are we doing? They can hear me. I promise. The umpires can hear me.
Okay. Elander was the hitting coach. Obviously now he's the head coach. Has his duties at all changed? Like in that regard, is he less working on working with the hitters on their approaches and all that stuff?
I mean, he's still involved with all of it, 100%. But I think there's also the test of delegation of being a head coach.
Yeah.
And so maybe you need to show people how to do it instead of tell them how to do it. And I think that is something that probably could be. I think that I'm going to say it. I'm sure everybody thought it. We need to also give live advice after an at bat, and you can't do that from third base when your team's sitting on the first base. Everybody wants to talk about Corbin doing this. He's been doing it for a long time. But I mentioned before the podcast that he's also right next to his he's right next to his dugout. Like if that's what needs to happen, if it's not working this far, like let's just go ahead and see if we can make a move and get him in the dugout to be able to give these kids, not yell at them, not scream at them, but to give them advice and coaching right after an at bat.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's just
I see more kids doing that with each other than coaches. I see
somebody
walk to the back, and nobody says anything.
I don't like that feel. Like I feel like a head coach should be able to talk to his team after at bats. You know, I feel like that would help a lot. And
yeah, you're right.
Just little things here and there. And I don't know a damn thing. I mostly know what felt good. I know what worked. You know, that's all. I'm just going back to when it was going really well, and I want to see more of that. That's really what we're all feeling, what we're all preaching, and it's frustrating. It is very frustrating, but it's still early. I mean, hell, it's still technically March. You got the 2 biggest months of college baseball coming up, and we're gonna have to prove it. We're gonna have to prove who we are, and you know, you got the biggest, you got a giant ass stadium. Pressure is on. I'll be honest. I can't imagine how much pressure Josh is feeling right now. I know it must be crazy because you know you're handed this one of the best jobs in the sport, this giant ass stadium, and you got handed it in March or in October. Like you didn't even have a normal transition period. Like it does suck. Like I asked Nate or whatever DeBoer. Ask DeBoer how it is replacing the greatest coach ever, and it's way different. Even it's a coach that built this here. He pretty much built the whole dang thing. I mean, hell, I don't think John Shire's having a good weekend. It's an odd situation, and I feel for him. I really do. I know it must be tough because I'm sure he didn't expect it totally, but he's in this spot and honestly, it's a spot that a lot of people in this profession would love to be in. It's a hell of a spot. And you know, he was here the entire time building it. So he knows it better than anyone.
Yeah.
And he's young. He's young. That's another thing. Like a lot of times they hand it off and it's an older dude and it just doesn't work. Like but he's young and he's had head coaching opportunities. I mean, we all know that. So I think if you give him a little grace, give him a little time, you'll even listen. And I remember hearing quotes from Tony that he learned so much in his first 2 years that he didn't know about being a head coach. And
could you
I'm
imagine?
I'm sure Josh is reaching out for advice at this point.
Could you imagine if we had just say we didn't even know who Tony Vitello was when he took the head coaching job in Tennessee, but what if Tony Vitello followed a guy that was like really amazingly awesome and legendary to his university, and then Tony had the first couple 2 or 3 seasons as he did when he first got here? How would that look? People like, get this mofo out of here. Like, so again,
Listen,
We're all pissed. We're fans, but
I can tell you this: if Tony,
okay.
if we're talking about this at this time, we're probably not even talking about it. Let's be honest here. We're not going to bring this up. Like, okay, we're not good at baseball. Whatever. Move on. That's how it was back then. We all remember.
Yeah.
Now it's actually a talking point, and it's actually pressure. It's a whole different animal than the one we had in 2019, when he take over 2017, 2018. It's a whole different sport now. So yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens this weekend when LSU rolls into town. Hopefully, and like Drew Beam said, man, that I think that place is going to be wild. I think it's going to be crowded. It's going to be rocking. I think it's going to be insane in there because we've been waiting for this first big series to happen in this stadium, and I think a lot of people are going to show up. We're going to spend like the last 8 or 9 minutes talking about this basketball team. Josh, you're free to stay, free to go, whatever you want to do, buddy.
Yeah, I'll hang out, man.
Cool, awesome, sounds good. But last 8 or 9 minutes, Tennessee makes it to Elite Eight. It's the third one in a row, and I'm just gonna go like at some point. It's a great accomplishment, and I get that. But at some point, you gotta find the right team and the right parts to move past to the Final Four. I feel like, and I saw someone tweet this out earlier today. I feel like Tennessee is always missing that one piece on the basketball team that the other teams have. What's the look for Austin? What you got?
We're missing about 9 of them on Sunday. So I don't know about that, but well, with that,
so you don't think we're missing?
But I do
every
agree. I agree.
year.
It would have put us in a better spot if we had more shooting. It would have helped a hell of a lot, and that's why I think the whole mentality needs to be this offseason. This next 2 weeks, really, these next 2 weeks are the most important of your of you're going to have going forward, because this is when you build your roster, and I do think the staff knows. Everyone in this staff knows we need offense. It's so hard to beat teams when you're relying on basically being perfect with guys who aren't like the best scorers in the world. It's just very difficult. You got to go. You have to have a plan to outscore teams. You need to teach scoring guys how to play defense rather than teaching defensive guys how to score.
Yep.
It's a whole different mentality, and I think these next 2 weeks are absolutely crucial because from what I hear, they're gonna hit the portal pretty hard and heavy, and I do think this upcoming season will be Barnes's last, and I think he wants this as bad as ever. If you listen to him after that loss to Michigan, you could tell he said stuff I never heard him say after tournament losses.
Yeah.
How they want so badly to be the team that breaks the door down and makes it happen for this university. And you know, I don't think there's anything in the world this fan base wants more than that at this point. To get Barnes to that Final Four, because this whole fan base, we love Barnes to death. He's the deacon. He's that guy that you just love, and he's getting older. You see like in those press conferences, you see his eyes are so red, and he looked a little older. But on Sunday he was coaching the crap out of his team, so he still has that fire, and he wants this very badly. And I think I do like they went hard money wise to get Nate Ament here last offseason. I think he'll have that same approach with the portal, except maybe I hope to God they just do what the big boys do, because we spent a good bit in the portal this in basketball. We spent I think about 10 million on this roster.
Do you think Nate Ament stays at all?
No,
There's a chance.
No.
You don't think so?
No,
okay, so
I
don't
think it's worth it. I do think he's great. I think he's absolutely a great player, but how much it might cost?
Okay, you just said dump a whole lot of money, and now you're backtracking, so you can't have both.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, though. I think you need older players. I think you need to, spread it out to like 7 positions. Like I think we went too hard on one guy with Nate. I think that, or not. Okay, so not insanely bad, but it really did. We couldn't get a good 2 guard, and no, we needed.
I get that, but like, here's the thing. It's like it could be like Kennedy Chandler. He goes right out of the draft, and then he just floats around between 4 teams, and now he's like nothing. So it's like maybe they can talk him back in, like, hey, listen, you're not ready. Kenny Chandler wasn't ready. He needed to stay another year. Like, do you think they could sway him, Josh? I know Josh Soder's second said, like, no, he's gone, bro. Like, but
No,
like,
I mean, I would love to have him back. I think that would be the
yeah,
best thing for him and the best thing for the school, because then you have a player who's ran through Rick's offense. He has built a relationship with Rick Barnes, so he wants to play harder for Rick Barnes. You know, Nate at the beginning of the year was the biggest bust in the entire world. Then he fires up and everybody loves him, and then he gets people after saying he got hurt. He was playing hurt.
oh, he's playing hurt the whole game.
And
Whole
Austin, I agree. Like, you've got to be able to divvy your money up the right way. But if you take superstars outside of a 5-man starting lineup and you take them off that team, it makes a significant difference.
yeah.
And I think if you add a superstar and you add the word consistency to it, then you're going to be okay. But I would love to have Nate Mint back.
And I think he's gone, but I still think that Rick Barnes is the right dude that could talk him into coming back.
Kevin Durant. I mean, that's
Like,
the thing. That's the comparison. I think that's why you wanted Nate, is that
he's not
comparison to
Kevin Durant
KD
though right now.
at Texas.
Yeah.
I wonder
like-
how many people tell him they need to see him healthy for a season.
I don't
I don't know.
He's
'Cause-
a freak. I mean, here
He
you pack
is.
muscles on that guy and you give him 20 pounds, and he took a beating in the SEC. I understand it's not NBA ball, but they're not as physical as what you're going to get in D1 college basketball. I mean, I think he's ready for the league. I don't think that he's going to come up right away, but I do think that he's somebody that would benefit for another year. And guess what? The money's going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to make a lot of money here. He's going to make a lot of money in the NBA. I don't think money in the future. The only thing I could see him being nervous about is how much he did get injured this year and not wanting to get injured again.
Yeah.
And that might hurt his stock a little bit. I think that's why he goes for, is because he doesn't want to take the opportunity to give teams that, what you just said, Austin, is, stay healthy for another year. He doesn't want to get hurt.
And Austin, you said as well just a second ago that and I agree with you when it says the whole you don't play defense, you don't play here thing. You got to throw that out the window, because that seriously that's gotten you it only gets you to a certain point in the tournament, and then you won't make it past that point, because what you said, you got to have shooters. We need more offense in this era of basketball. You get killed by a Michigan team. They have good defense. I'll give them that. They have really good defense at Michigan, but they also had dudes that could light you up from the outside, from the inside, and from every spot on that court. They had big dudes who could shoot. We need a big dude that can shoot the damn ball.
They also had big dudes that don't miss layups. I'm so tired of missing layups, man.
I just we're known for hustle and defense, and that's it. And that's
exactly.
And that's great. That I'm not backtracking that, right? But dude, you've got to be consistent. You've got to get scorers. We've relied on just one person so much, from Lanier to Connect. Dude, I'm sure you guys have talked about this, but the way we played down low out this year was way different than what I'm used to at Tennessee basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And I love him. I love Farah. I love Carey, Dogs. I think Brown stays. He's going to be a stud. But yeah, we've
you
got.
think Carey stays?
I don't know.
I don't know what the staff thinks. I think he said he'd love to be here if they want him. If they want
I think
me.
Heupel should put him at defensive end or possibly tight end.
Yeah.
He brought a presence. I think he brought a different presence.
He did. Well, people crapped on him a whole bunch in the season, but then you have games where you're just like, oh, he took over down low, and no one could stop him. And he has. I don't know, man. I think Carey's a good player. I hope he stays, because he brings that tank mentality down low. He's a bruiser of he bangs around down there, and he bruises people up. He tires them out because he's a bruiser. But
he was actually the only guy that could be kind of effective against Michigan, because he could just wiggle his way down there and muscle his way to the basket. He wasn't. They couldn't block his shot because he was already past him. But I really think they got to add shooting.
Agreed.
I don't know what you do with Bishop Boswell. I like Bishop Boswell a lot. I really do. But then again, he's not a scorer.
No.
It's a big plus if you got 13 points from him. You're feeling like
you need two
you feel
scores.
like you hit the lottery.
You don't have to have all scores and shooters.
You
need you need one. Yeah, you need more than one. You got to have more than one. That one. You had this year was Gillespie, and he's not even a true shooter. But like you said, Josh, you had the Connects and the Laniers. Then there was just one guy. One guy can't do it all for you.
Correct.
That's not going to work.
Zakai, but it's like they never could work together. Like if Amen and Gillespie, our best games were when they both scored points.
Yes.
Like usually it's one or the other, and they're different positions, so you should be able to play through each other. I just think I said we are known. Everybody I talk to is like, man, same comments all the time. You guys are hustlers and you play defense.
Yep.
And it is a different league now, and you have 7'1" freshmen coming in that can shoot from half court.
Yeah.
Like you got to find one of those guys. Like,
Yeah.
that's what you got to find.
That's what I'm saying. You got to find a big shooter, like tall.
I really
big
want to
shooter.
find I really want experience too. I want 22-year-olds. I want to have the oldest team on the floor because that's what that's what Auburn got a Final Four with, and that's what I think Michigan's one of the oldest teams in the country. It's really like I hate to say it, but Nate was always limited. Well, the ankle, but also he was skinny. He was skinny as a twig, and you can manhandle him, and that was a big disadvantage for him. I don't know if that'll be a problem this next season if he came back hypothetically, but I just really. I really want to have guys that can light the world on fire because I want to feel like we're burying people from deep, and I hate that style because if you have an off night shooting, you're just screwed. But also the ceiling on that is so high. And here's the thing: we're never going to play bad defense. We're always going to at least have good defense. I feel like
it's important.
Yeah,
absolutely,
it is important. Yeah, it is important. But I mean, like, I'm not talking about a team with just like it's just nothing but shooters and no defense. Like doesn't like you got to have some type of defense, but you do need more shooters, and we'll see what happens. But Rick Barnes, I'd have heard what you said, Austin. The portal is going to be massive, and I think he's already attacking it already.
Well, ask Calipari how it is. You bring all these $1 million, $2 million freshmen in, and everybody thinks you're going to win a championship, but there's no chemistry. And the Cooper
that's
Flag,
Kentucky.
These guys,
this
like
season.
That's great. If you want to be a school that shoots people to pros, go ahead and do that. But I think Tennessee is more fit to be a school that can win multiple championships eventually.
Yes.
Yeah, and I will say when Barnes does hang it up, Josh Schertz, I believe he turned down NC State because he's waiting on this job. I really do. This is a guy that's been 13 years in East Tennessee, and he's the hottest name in college basketball. I think this will be Barnes' last year, and I would love to see that guy take the reins because I really think that guy is maybe one of the best coaches in the sport at this point.
Yeah. Well, we will see. We'll see what happens in the portal this offseason in regards to Tennessee basketball. But great show, guys. Fun show. Fun messing around. Josh, thanks for coming on, dude.
Thanks for having
me. Josh,
yes,
man.
Good to have you,
Josh
buddy.
from Collectibles and More. Store is awesome. The vibe is awesome. The customer service is amazing. We'll do it again soon, my friend. We will do it again soon. But go Vols. Good night. God bless. Peace out, my friends. Peace out.